Buenos dias, beloved. It's me. I don't know what I am doing here. I'm just recording as I go along, things I want to share with y'all. I don't really have a concept for my channel, but I guess it will develop later on its own. But I want to do a part two to Mark Morales, my friend, because as now I'm sitting here at home reminiscing and looking at videos, I'm remembering a lot of things that I left out from the first video. So I know that I told you guys about how we met and how we became close, but I didn't really talk too much about Damon and Buff, the human beatbox. Um, Upon me meeting Mark, I also the same day, um, we were in school, and the school was Gershwin, George Gershwin, Junior High School 166 on Van Sicklen and Stanley in Brooklyn, East New York, Brooklyn, and New York. And we all were in gym for something. We were in the gym for something, and I just heard this music like boom, boom, I heard that, but it didn't sound like how I'm doing it. It had a lot of bass. It sounded like a real radio. And I'm looking for the radio. I'm like, who the hell brought a radio into the gym? Like this just sounds so good. Like I loved music anyway. So I turned around and it was Buff. So that's when was my first encounter with Buff. But I started getting close with Buff and Damon because they all lived on the same block. And Damon Kuvakski had at least four brothers. He had four big brothers, and they were all fly and known in the neighborhood. Fuzz, Blaze. I think he had another brother, and Damon. And they used to live like right around the corner from my little boyfriend at the time. So I used to always be on that block, Hendrix and Hegeman, or Skank and Hegeman, between Hegeman and New Lots, where the Fat Boys lived. And like I said, I used to be over there every single day. But not only did we have Marky D, the Fat Boys, Damon and Buff, but we also had Ross, who Ross and Fran was also in the industry. He was a big DJ, and and Spider Man and Freeze. Spider Man and Freeze, it might sound very familiar to you because Ross Spider Man is the one that did the track for Poison. Poison, never just a big cut in the smile that girl is. Excuse my voice because I've been smoking. Um, Poison, which is one of Belle Biv DeVoe's biggest hits. So you could go to the club now and you might hear Poison still being played because the track was so hot. But that came from East New York too. Salute to Ross. So, and we also had a group 7A3, Brett Bolden and his brother Sean Bolden. When we were in elementary school in the sixth grade, Brett Bolden was in a movie with Cicely Tyson called the Miss Jane Pittman, the story of Miss Jane Pittman. She was a teacher, and it was announced in the classroom that Brett would be in that movie. So we were already used to people in the neighborhood being, you know, in the industry some type of way. You had Brett, you had the Boldens, you had the Wages. They were there of the Wages brothers Tanoy and Kasim and Karan and True, Lawrence and Jamel. And True, his daughter is Little Mama. I know y'all guys may know Little Mama. That's his daughter. So she came out from East New York too. Also, we had Queen Pen, who wound up working with Teddy Riley. Her cousin lived in my building and she used to come visit. And I used to take Lanice with me to the jams in the park. Like if Lanice was outside, I would say, "You want to come with me?" And she would come with me to the jams because I could dance and Lanice could dance. And we would go to the jams and just take over. So Lanice had a big hit with Teddy Riley. No Diggity, I got to back it up. She was on No Diggity, and she had her own song, A Party Ain't a Party Till It's Ran All Through, and that was Queen Pen. Um, Mark Morales. He wrote Mary J. Blige's Real Love. He wrote Real Love. He wrote a song for Mariah Carey. He did something for Coolio. He did something for Craig Mack of Bad Boy. He did a song for Jennifer Lopez. And most recently, he did something for Ariana Grande. So he was still active, and he was a big DJ in Miami. And I was saying to myself, I gotta hook up with Mark and see how he's doing, because I know he's busy with Rock the Bells. He was DJing for Rock the Bells, which is LL Cool J's radio station, I believe. And I was like, I need to contact him and see how he's doing. This was on my mind for the last 2 weeks, guys. And a couple of my friends was like, yeah, I spoke to Mark the other day, and I was like, yeah, I gotta check on him. So he wasn't really as active in the neighborhood as he was in the early years, because he had moved to Miami. So we had really lost contact with Mark, but he would pop up every now and then. Someone would say they reached out to him and they spoke to him or whatever. So that's how I would keep up with how he was doing. But I also left out, I'm sorry guys, I also left out Gang Starr. Premier is from East New York, the big hip hop producer. Um, Carl Kanai, I said him before. He was the first urban designer that really made it big. He was on the level of Tommy Hilfiger, Polo. He was on that level. I'm sure you guys remember Tupac wearing Carl Kanai all the time. And that's where I came from, guys. And also, my mother is Spanish, so my mother's side of the family is Spanish. So I spoke Spanish, and at the time when hip hop was forming, in the early years, it was Puerto Ricans and blacks that started this hip hop culture. It wasn't just blacks; it was blacks and Puerto Ricans. Mark Morales is Puerto Rican, so the allure with the Fat Boys really came from the relationship that Buff Damon and Mark had. Like, when I say they were like brothers, they were super tight. They're one of the only groups that you never heard any type of stuff about them, like they didn't get along and they weren't speaking to each other and in the media talking bad about each other. They were tight like brothers for real. And I mean, they were funny. They were very funny. I hope one day you guys will catch Disorderlies and Crush Group, because you could see the chemistry that those three had with each other. And now Damon is left by himself, and I sent him a message maybe yesterday or day before, and I was like, keep your head up and we love you. And he sent me a bunch of hearts and some prayers, because he know we love them. Maybe I'll get Damon after everything dies down. I'll get Damon to do an interview on my channel. And I'm also trying to reach out to Bobby Schmurda and see if I can get an interview with him for you guys. So I'm just giving y'all a little hello and a little shout out, and continuing my grieving process with my buddy, man. The more memories I remember, the more I'm in here laughing and giggling. And I just found a tweet from him where I was teasing him about the girl that I told y'all about from the bathroom. And he was laughing on the Twitter post that he sent me back. But I don't even check Twitter, so I didn't see the damn response from him till 2 years later because I'm never on Twitter. But I'm gonna miss Mark. I'm gonna really miss his presence in this world, because he was a really special person. Him, Damon, and Buffy, and a lot of other people that I grew up with, and a lot of industry people that I was able to run into, being that I was at the nexus of the hip hop world at that time. So I'll be coming with more stories as I remember. But again, rest in peace, Marky D. Rest in peace, Ecstasy from Houdini. I'm really good friends with Jalil also, from Houdini. And maybe I'll get a interview with Jalil too. Um, Houdini, the freaks come out at night. And friends, how many of us have them? They have a couple of classics under their belt, including One Love, which became um, a saying that everybody would say one, or One Love came from Houdini, that song from years ago. But I gotta check it on Jalil too. So I'm gonna get back to you guys and see if I can get some interviews, probably phone interviews, because I don't have anything set up or anything like that. But most likely, if I get anybody to speak on anything, it will be Damon. I will get him up here. So if you have questions for Damon about the industry or anything about Mark Morales, you can leave it in my comments. And when I'm able to get a hold of him, I'll ask him those questions and have him on do an interview with him, record it, and put it on the channel. Much love and have a great day.